November is ending the same way it started, at least with the same book. Not because it took me a whole month to read this, but because I paused for other books. And over the course of the month that I've been reading the Black Trillium, it has gotten a lot more battered. I've added tape to the spine. The back cover is less than one piece, more than one piece. It's not whole anymore. It is showing its age. This is from 1990. I think I have a second edition. It's really old. It has 3 authors, Marion Zimmer Bradley, Julian May, and Andre Norton. The main characters are 3 princesses, and each princess's point of view chapters were written by one of those authors. I was a little worried about it not being as good as I remember because this was a nostalgia read from when I was in high school, and it's not as good as I remember, but I'm okay with it. It doesn't have to be good to be nostalgic. The 3 princesses are pretty stereotyped. There's the girly girl, scaredy cat, the tomboy, and the scholar, smart one. They follow their stereotypes, and to a certain extent, part of each princess's journey through the story is having to overcome the weakness of her stereotype. I'm not to the end yet, and I don't quite remember how it ends. I know there's one thing at least that I'm going to be unhappy with, a relationship that happens that now, looking back, these characters are 17. So when I read this in high school, they seemed perfectly grown up to me. Now that I'm 36, I'm like, you don't need to marry this person. Like rewatching an old Disney animated movie. I do appreciate the prose here. It's kind of antiquated, kind of fancy. It's not normal everyday language, and I kind of appreciate that. It's not super character driven. There are a lot of places where some good dialogue would help, and there's just not any. It actually gives me some really strong The Black Crystal vibes, if you've ever seen that old 80s movie. In fact, this came after The Black Crystal. I can definitely see some inspiration there, especially with the oddlings. Remind me a lot of the Gelflings. Is it Gelflings? It's been a long time since I've seen it. Anyway, that was my nostalgia read that I took a break from to read my 2 new releases that I got this month. I have less than 100 pages left. I'll probably finish it in the next couple of days. And then on the same day in the mail, I got these. Merag and Iron Flame. I did choose to read Merag first. It was the one I had waited longer for, the one I was more excited about. And between these 2 and my nostalgia read, it took me the whole month. It's a 3-book kind of month. Merag, I did already make a review and a character study, and overall, I was mostly just happy to have another book, another story from the world of Allegasia, even if it's not what I had been looking forward to or what I had wanted. There were things about it that made me unhappy, but I have high hopes for whatever comes next. The Inheritance Cycle had the first 4 books centered on Aragon. This one's like a transitionary book between those 4 books of the Inheritance Cycle and then whatever happens next. We get to know Merag and Thorn as their own characters, not backup characters. We get the new threat introduced. There's kind of some setup towards the end of this one for what the next series of stories could be. So I guess my feelings were kind of medium. It was a dragon book. It did draw me in. It did make me emotional to a certain extent, more because of Thorn than because of Merag. And I'm kind of thinking of making a Merag versus Iron Flame video just for fun, because these 2 books don't target the same audience, but they were 2 dragon books that came out on the same day. I read them in the same month. There's some similarities. I think it might just be kind of fun. Also, aren't they pretty? They have that similar color theme, warm tone and fiery. So after Merag, I read Iron Flame. I was less than happy, and a lot of the reasons that I was less than happy I think have to do with the speed at which this book came out. I think this got rushed out to ride the waves of social media virality because Fourth Wing just kind of exploded all over the internet, and it should have had more time to be worked on to make it better. I will go a lot more into my feelings about it in the video about this book specifically. There were good things about it. You can tell that Rebecca Yarros has good ideas and skills as a writer, but writing a book takes longer than this one got. And it's not just the writing process that takes longer, It's the revising, the editing, the physical publishing and shipping it out. That all takes time. The time it takes to put out a book can never keep up with the speed at which things gain popularity on social media and then wane in popularity. And I think Rebecca Yarros has had a disservice done to her, because it seems like an awesome thing to have your book explode on social media, right? But then having to be pressured to get the next one out, I think was not positive. Anyway, I won't rant too much, I'll save it for the next video. The twists at the end were good, and I think will draw people into the next one because they're gonna need to see what happens. I'm not sure that I need to see what happens, and I think after Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, I'm good. I think after the next books come out, I can just look up how it ends and be okay, especially if they're just going to continue to be rushed out in a way that lowers the quality. There's plenty of other books to read, which is sad because they had potential. Moving on to the TBR portion for December, I really want December to be mood reading month. I don't want to decide too much ahead of time. I'm gonna read this and this and this. That's how my November was. I knew I had 2 books coming out that I was going to read. I knew they were going to be long, they were going to take the whole month. I want to leave December more open. There is one book I've kind of been looking forward to and kind of been in the mood for, so I'll put it on my TBR because I feel in the mood for it right now. If it changes, I'm going to feel free to read it later. But I have had this one since summer and have not read it yet. And that is Promise of Blood by Brian McClellan, book 1 of the Powder Mage trilogy. Powder, I believe, meaning gunpowder. So it's not your traditional fantasy, but I have heard only good things. This one is recently gaining a little bit in popularity because of the Broken Binding edition. Broken Binding, I think, is based in the UK. They'll put out special editions of books that are already out, and I've seen some really pretty pictures. And so since I already had it and now people are talking about it again, I'm like, well, I want to read it too. But I am going to be very open to DNFing if it's not for me. I don't want to spend my month of Christmas on a book that is not working for me. The last couple I read, I felt like I needed to finish to put out full thoughts on them. This one I'll give it a shot and see what I think. I have high hopes. And then in December also, my family is going out of state. We have some family in Arizona, so we're gonna take a little break from this Pacific Northwest cool, wet weather that we always get here and go to where it's sunny and a little warmer. I'm going to try to record some videos ahead of time so I can still put some stuff out while I'm gone. I am going to try to not be stressed or pressure myself too much. It's the holiday season, I want to feel happy. So I'm going to try to get ahead, but if I feel like I can't do it, I'm not going to try to force it. And if I manage to get ahead and put videos out, I still will answer comments and engage in stuff while I'm on vacation. And I also kind of hope to visit the bookstores that Elliot Brooks always talks about. She was one of the booktubers I found first who kind of inspired me to start making videos, and she has a couple of her favorite bookstores that she goes to in Arizona. They're chain bookstores, so I probably won't end up at the exact ones that she goes to, but she speaks so highly of them. I want to go check them out. Maybe buy a book or 2. And I'm going to say that those of you who watched this video are probably the ones who will care to celebrate with me. At the time I'm recording, I am this close to having 1,000 subscribers to this channel. It doesn't really mean that much. I'm not getting 1,000 views on every video, but there were that many people who enjoyed hearing me talk about books that pushed subscribe, and it feels like a number worth celebrating. I don't know what I'm gonna do to celebrate. I might just buy a book. I won't be able to monetize this channel yet. My goal for monetizing this YouTube channel is to be able to have a self-sustaining hobby where any money I make here can go to bookshelves, books, book things. But there's still some requirements I'll have to meet that I have not met yet. That will be the next goal for 2024. We'll see how it goes. All right, that's it, I'm done. But you can comment what books you are looking forward to reading in December, and I'll see you back here for more videos. Bye.